How you doing, guys? Big Mek Danskull here again today, back once again with another vlog for you. So, I started last week with a day off work and I got some undercoats done on my Conquest minis. That's these here. You'll notice some conversions I've done. The tube on the previous miniature featured there, a head swap on this guy here, and a head swap on Lord Felthius. I've also done some green stuff work on his head as well. Just briefly showing you my green screen setup here as well and how simple it is. It's just a canvas, a large canvas painted green. Simple as that, and I've been using this for my own videos as well as some collaboration videos with Dreadwar Gaming, so definitely check out Dreadwar Gaming and his videos if you want to see more of my face, that is. Action. Oh, it's filming.
Thanks, Dread. Today I want to talk you through the highs and lows of attending a miniature show or wargaming convention. First off, let's start with a high. I've forgotten all the highs and lows.
I spent Tuesday to Friday in work this week, and here's a lovely little clip for you again from the back of my wagon.
Narthecium. Narthecium. Narthecium.
That was me just practicing the pronunciation of a word that featured heavily in this week's issue of Conquest magazine for last week's Conquest video. The miniature contained in this week's issue was the Apothecary, and he has on his wrist, you can see it there, the screen with the buttons on, that's his Narthecium, which is the pronunciation I settled on. I went to the cinema 2 nights this week, once on the Thursday, that was to see Shazam, and then again on the Friday. Normally my sister arranges us going to the cinema and finds us 2 films close to each other that we can see, but I wanted to make sure I saw Shazam and Hellboy before they went off, basically, because often we'll miss a film that we don't manage to find a good time for. So this is just me on the way to the cinema to make sure I get to see Shazam before they take it off the screens. Just got out of Hellboy and it was awesome.
How you doing, guys? Whoa, my voice has gone there. I've just been to the cinema to see Hellboy and it was fantastic. I thought it was quality. Last night I went to see Shazam as well, which was it was pretty good. Shazam, it wasn't as good as Hellboy though. Hellboy was just like, all the action scenes had the perfect music in and everything like that, so I had a great time watching that. Yeah, last night Shazam, it was pretty good, but there was a couple of things I wasn't a major fan of. There's this kid in it, and he's I think there's one scene in the film where you're supposed to side with him and think that the kid that gets Shazam, the Shazam power, you think Shazam has let the other kid down, basically. But for me, I was totally siding with the kid that had the power of Shazam. It was ridiculous what the other kid expected of him, and he was really irritating the other kid as well. So yeah, there was a couple of things that let Shazam down, I thought, but it was reasonable entertainment overall. So yes, there's my short film reviews for you. Yes, I've got nothing else to say really. You can hear my voice. I visited my mate last weekend and he was just getting over a cold, and I think I've caught that cold off him. The night after I got back, 2 days after I got back, I got out of the bath and then I went to get in bed, and I just started shivering uncontrollably, and then the next morning I felt horrendous, and then the day after, blocked nose and stuff like that, and this started happening. sore throat sort of thing, and just suppressed a cough. Did well there, didn't I? Anyway, I'll leave it there for now, guys, because I'm waffling on, as you can tell. See you in the next clip.
Fast forward to Sunday here, where I decided I was going to replay the Army of One mission from the Kill Team Commander's book. This was a mission I played when I went, or one of the missions I played when I went down to visit my mate the other weekend. And I thought it was almost impossible for me to achieve a victory with the commander. However, I decided to replay it to see if it was as hard as I thought, but it's actually a lot easier than I'd initially thought. I rolled for which objective I was set to achieve, and it was the ammunition cache one again, where you have to capture an ammunition cache. You'll see the grey silver canister that one of the Tau Pathfinders is stood on. I used that as the objective marker in this battle. And as you can see, I started the battle by charging the first stealth suit on top of this double wide container that I'll talk more about later, and went into combat with him. Once that combat was won, I consolidated down behind the containers. You can see, the camera's just zooming in there. That was just in case the Tau gained the initiative in the next turn, and indeed they did. The Warboss then managed a 9-inch charge once the Tau had all repositioned. The Warboss managed a 9-inch charge to engage one of the Pathfinders. Once that second combat was won, I then used consolidation to move up to the objective, and you capture the objective by being within 2 inches of it at the end of a battle round, which, of course, I was by the end of this battle round. I then decided I wanted to see if I could achieve the other 2 objectives that you can roll for at the start. One of them is to kill the enemy leader, so I did that in the next combat when the Tau surrounded me. And then the other one is to escape from the opponent's table edge, which you can see there I'm within striking distance. I rolled for initiative, got the initiative, and then moved off the table edge in the next battle round. So unlike my initial thoughts that the mission was nearly impossible for the commander to win, it's quite simple for the commander to win. There are a few caveats though. This is a smaller battle round than is recommended for, a smaller playing board than is recommended for Kill Team. This is the one that comes with Conquest, but it's not too much smaller. It's about 23 inches long. It gains you a little bit of advantage there. Now more about this double wide container. Well, I just wanted to show you that it's not actually a solid double wide container. This is the center section where the 2 parts join. What I do is thread one piece of styrene through some other pieces that are slightly bigger than it in order to connect the 2 sides of the container, like so. And you can see as I spin the containers here, once I move my hand out of the way, it just connects the 2 containers nicely. So there's 3 pieces, 1 connected to one container and 2 connected to the other container. You just thread the rod through the middle and then it holds them in place, and you can lift it up and move it around. It's nice and simple. And what you end up with is this nice versatile piece of terrain. So instead of your standard double wide container, which isn't quite standard actually, I'm just showing these 2 connection points here as well. I've got on the corners of the container so you can slot them together nicely and they line up. So I've put a bit of square styrene rod in the middle there, just as a bit of structural support, and also to attach one of the threaded areas. The idea then is you can open up the container. It can be used as a forward operating base or something like a temporary apothecarium where patients can be treated by apothecaries appropriately. Something like that. You can use I've got some objective markers where they've got like a surgery table. I was thinking about popping one of them in there from time to time, just to give you a nice thematic piece of terrain there. That's about all I've got for you this time, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.